everybody, happy late St. Patrick's Day. I'm filming this on the day of good old St. Patrick, and that is why I'm wearing green as a little celebration. So I just wanted to wish you a late happy St. Patrick's Day, and I'm so excited to be filming this video for you today. I know that the last video I filmed was a story time. The reason why I'm doing a story time today is because I got so much positive feedback. I'm still overwhelmed by the support and love and how much you guys enjoyed story time, which is awesome because, like I said in my last video, I've never just sat down and talked, right? So I filmed a lot of videos where I answer questions and I give advice, but I've never just sat down and told stories about my life. And you guys, I have a lot of really fun, crazy stories on the docket that I can tell you. So I went on Twitter and I asked you guys what you wanted me to talk about next. I give you 4 options, and there was an overwhelming amount of you that wanted me to talk about lucid dreaming, the time that I experienced lucid dreaming, which really surprises me. Like, I would have thought that would have been the last thing you guys wanted to hear about. So go Twitter polls, I'm glad that I asked. That being said, you will hear about all of the other stories in due time, and I'll be taking more polls in the future so that you can cast your vote on what you want to hear me talk about. I just realized I'm like not really in the middle of the screen. There we go. Okay, so lucid dreaming, right? Most people have heard about it. And before I experienced it, I thought it was a myth. For those of you that don't know what lucid dreaming is, it is when you are completely aware that you are in a dream and you're able to control what's happening in the dream because you're aware that you're dreaming. So if you're in dream world, everything's limitless. You can basically do whatever you want because the laws of nature and mankind don't apply, right? It's just this sort of endless opportunity of space, which is why so many people want to lucid dream. But the catch is that it requires so much practice and so much work to get to the point where you're actually lucid dreaming. So how did I lucid dream? Well, I started by learning some practice things that you can do to be aware that you're dreaming, because the first step is you have to find a way to communicate with yourself and tell yourself, I'm dreaming right now. You have to tell your subconscious mind that that's what you're doing. So if you guys have seen the movie Inception, in Inception they like bring a totem with them. They like carry a totem with them always, and they like look at the totem and they're able to like study it, and that's how they know whether or not they're dreaming. For most people don't know that they're dreaming when they're dreaming. When I visited Australia, I realized that I often am aware that I'm dreaming, and like most people don't know that, right? Like most people dream and they're not aware that they're dreaming. So I didn't know that. I thought most people knew, like I'm dreaming right now. It's like all this stuff is happening. So I kind of got it in my head that if I know that I'm dreaming often, I could probably lucid dream. I just need to like figure out which technique works best for me. So some people work by totems. A really popular technique is people count their fingers. So during the day, they'll look at their fingers and they'll count during like your average day how many fingers they have on each hand. Reason being, when you're dreaming, you'll often have a funky number of fingers. You'll have less or more. So when you spend the day counting the number of fingers that you have, when you go to sleep and you dream, Just like when you dream, you often do things that you do in normal everyday life. You will have done it so often that your subconscious will inherently count the number of fingers that it has because you've been doing it every day for like 2 weeks. And then notice, hold up, I've only got 9 fingers or I've got 11 fingers, and it clicks, I'm dreaming. So some people like to do it that way. Another technique is when you go to fall asleep, you want to kind of get in this middle state where you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like you're not fully asleep, but you're almost there. And once you're in that state, you really want to work hard to relax your body and kind of get in this middle in between sleep state so that you're still awake enough to know that it's dreaming, but your subconscious is still able to explore. That for me was difficult when I tried to do it, and tough and creepy, because if you guys have ever heard of sleep paralysis, it's when you are aware that you're dreaming, and you're laying in bed, but your body can't move. That's freaky as heck to me, right? Because like a lot of times you'll see scary things, but you can't wake yourself up. So for me, let me get a drink of water. So for me, I didn't want to go down that road, and when I did practice a few times, it didn't work for me. I suddenly got this idea. Around the time I was in Australia, I had this ring. And throughout the day, I would look at my hand and go, there's a ring on my finger. And I would get myself to do it repeatedly, like every day. There's a ring on my finger. There's a ring on my finger. I was constantly looking at my hand, very similar to counting the number of fingers you have, but like sort of mixing in the totem principle, and looking at my hand and being aware that there was a ring on my finger. So I did it constantly for like a week. After a week of doing it, which mind you is like abnormally fast, but I think it worked for me because I'm often so like aware that I'm dreaming in like a day-to-day sleep cycle. Oh my God, I'm like dying of heat. So one night, and by the way, there's like different things that are recommended when you lucid dream. There's a couple things that people recommend. You fly, you talk to somebody that you're interested in talking with, and you speak with your subconscious. I was so stoked on lucid dreaming because I've always wanted to like go through hypnosis. You know what? My hair is bugging the crap out of me. I'm gonna put a hat on. All right, let's see here. Much better. So I've always wanted to do hypnosis because hypnosis like reveals things that you didn't already know about yourself. And that is so intriguing to me, but it's not really commonly used anymore in like therapy or psychiatry. So when I found out that people can talk to their subconscious when they lucid dream, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I want to try that. Like, I wonder what I'll find. The trick is a lot of times when you realize that you're lucid dreaming, you get really excited and you wake up. So like, you'll be dreaming, you'll realize you're lucid dreaming, you'll get super stoked, and the excitement of the fact that you're aware that you're dreaming and you're like lucid dreaming wakes you up. It's a huge problem, and that's why it takes a lot of practice, because people have to like learn to calm down their like excitement when the lucid dreaming happens. Okay, so here's the story. So I was sleeping in this room and I started to dream. Normal, average dream. I stood up out of my bed and I walked over to this dresser across the room. The room, oddly enough, it looked exactly the same as the room that I was actually in. So imagine it's like a replica in dream state. I walked over to the dresser and instinctively I turned my hand over and realized the ring was gone. And like my mind, like the level, the surge of excitement and realization that I was lucid dreaming was so overwhelming, because imagine, like, you are in a dream, but you as a human being, you are conscious and aware that you're dreaming, full-fledged. And I remember saying to myself, like, calm down, like, don't ruin this, like, you're gonna wake yourself up, stay calm. So I calmed myself down, and I was like, all right, what? I'm supposed to do something when I'm lucid dreaming. What am I supposed to do? That's right, I'm supposed to, like, fly, which is apparently one of the most amazing things ever. Because it's one thing to fly when you're dreaming. It's another thing to fly and, like, feel it. Like, really, really feel it, because you're like, awake in a dream, right? So the first thing I did is I flew. And so you paint a picture, a lot like when you have this, like, blank white canvas and you can paint a picture on it and things sort of transform. I imagined that I was, like, in clouds. And I started to fly. It was so real. It was like, thinking about it now, when I'm awake now, I'm able to clearly, like, differentiate, like, yes, that was a dream. But in the dream, it was a full-fledged, real-life experience. And what I do remember, like, kinesthetically, is the feeling of exhilaration that I felt when I flew. And I flew over, like, clouds and, like, different parts of the world, New York City. It was absolutely incredible. When I was in the air, I thought to myself, okay, there are other things on the docket, like talk to somebody that I want to talk to, and talk to my subconscious. My AC just turned off. You should be able to hear me better. Talk to my subconscious. Now, I want to be perfectly clear here. I am not I'm not an individual that gets starstruck. Like, if I were to meet a famous person, I would be excited, but, like, I perceive them as being an individual, right? So I'm not the one to be like, oh my God, take a picture with me, please let me have your autograph. No offense to people that are like that, but I don't really get excited over those types of things. That being said, if you've been on my channel and if you've been following me for a really, really long time, if you're a faithful viewer, you know I love Kristen Stewart, okay? Not only do I adore her as a human being, but I respect, unlike a lot of people, I respect her acting skills so much. I think she's phenomenal, right? The obsession is real. I love her. If I were to meet her, amazing, right? I would probably have a mini freak out. Like, I would speak to her normally, but internally I would probably be freaking out. So I'm thinking, like, that she is who came to my head, which I think is funny. Like, not somebody like Dr. Taylor Hartman, who, like, changed my life by writing the color code. No one really, like, that made this huge impact on my life. Kristen Stewart, but whatever, right? I'm in a dream. That's who I thought of. What can you do? So I go to, like, this house, and in Australia, most people hang dry their clothes. I mean, they have, like, a washer and dryer, but very often they hang their clothes up on a clothesline. So since I was staying in Australia, like, this was what was fresh on my mind. Oh my God, my battery's gonna die. Okay, good thing this story is almost over. So because it was fresh in my mind, I like land in the backyard of this house where there was hung up laundry. And I see this person in the distance. And they're walking towards me, and I was like, it is Kristen Stewart. Like, she is real. Like, as real as you're talking to another human being, I was experiencing this for real. I was freaking out. And the problem was, once she got like close enough to me, I got so excited, I got so overwhelmed, I woke up. Now, in my day-to-day life, when I sleep, I almost always am aware that I'm sleeping. I stopped lucid dreaming, I think, because I was afraid of what I would find out if I continued it. There's so much, you see, the thing is, there's so much going on in our subconscious minds. And I know that there's so much going on in mine. And there's a lot of beneficial things that can be found in being aware of what's happening in your subconscious. But I also think it's a dangerous road to go down. And when I experienced lucid dreaming, like literally experienced lucid dreaming, I realized that it's so real to you at the time. It's so authentic. The power, although you can control what's happening in your environment, although you can control what you see and what you're doing, your subconscious, it has power that often you can't control. And because it's so real and authentic, to me, that's a road that I wanted to avoid going down. So that's the last time I tried to do it. Sometimes when I'm dreaming, I think about it. Sometimes I'll be aware that I'm dreaming and I'll think, what if I lucid dreamt right now? But I don't do it. I think the unknown excites me. And I like the idea of the unknown, but I like to question the unknown, but I don't always want to know all the answers. I think prying too much won't always lead to good things. If you guys know me, you know I love horror movies. I mean, that's my safe place. That's my happy place, because the unknown, I've learned to respect what we don't understand and what we can't really have access to. I like knowing that as human beings, we can't be all arrogant and think that we can touch everything, because we can't. And there is always a limit to what we can understand. That doesn't mean we stop asking questions, but that does mean that we are aware that there are places that we may not want to go. All that being said, I like to think about those places sometimes. I think it helps distract myself from what the fears of everyday life are. You know, guys, it took me a while to get to this place, and I used to be intensely afraid of everything. The dark, monsters. And I was able to overcome that fear, and it's been a very fascinating process. So if you want to hear about that story, go ahead and comment down below. Aside from that, I hope you enjoyed hearing about the first time that I lucid dreamed. Is it lucid dreamed or lucid dreamt? Who knows, right? Tomato, tomato. You guys get what I'm saying. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Thank you for listening to another story time video. If you have questions you want me to answer, let me know down below as well. And I'm looking forward to doing another advice video very, very soon. Have Have a spectacular day if it's morning for you. Have a spectacular night if it's night for you. If you're about to fall asleep tonight, know that your mind has power, and fall asleep with positive thoughts. And you never know what awesome things may come your way. Thanks for watching, everybody. Mwah!